business development role. Maybe you've been in a role in business development for a while, but you're trying to figure out how to speed up the acquiring of new accounts. So whether you're new to business development or you've been in the role a while, there's some best practices that you should be using, which will just help you speed things up and ultimately be more successful in business development. Hi, my name is Shawn Casemore, and I help you learn how to be a top performing sales professional so that you can earn more money in less time. If that sounds good to you, make sure you click the subscribe button so you'll be notified each and every time I release a new video, and click the like button if you like this content. Let me know you'd like more of it. You can always comment below with your own strategies if you're in business development that have helped you generate more business. Now, let's get into it. When it comes to business development, you can spend a lot of time doing research and a lot of time traveling and meeting with new prospects, learning about new companies. It all takes a lot of time. So what you really want to consider is how to best manage your time in order to be more effective. You'll want to use what I refer to as the Time Management Trilogy. Here it is. Think about a triangle with three sides. On one side, you've got research. On the other side, you've got interactions, and along the bottom you've got administration. If you think about your role in business development, it really gets packaged, if you will, into these three areas. So you're spending time researching. That might be attending an event, might be doing some research online, might be calling some of your colleagues to learn more about potential companies that you can pursue. Then you've got the interactions. So this is the traveling to meet people, setting up meetings, attending meetings, participating in meetings. Your travel might even be globally, so there can be a lot of time spent here as well. Then you've got administration. That's all of the other stuff. Your goal with the Time Management Trilogy is to really increase the time spent in the top of the triangle and reduce the time along the bottom. So take a look at your activities that are related to research and your activities related to interacting, traveling, having meetings, connecting with, speaking to potential companies and even partners, and ask yourself, how do I increase the time spent in these areas? You can even take a look at your calendar and say, well, in a week, how much time do I spend in these two areas? What I find is that once you've been into business development for a while, you fall into the trap of the administration. That is all the other stuff, updating notes, updating CRM, right? Just doing administrative stuff that really doesn't help you sell. That's where a lot of your time can get spent, meaning you don't have as much time available to generate those new business opportunities. So if you're new, or if you've been around for a while, just make sure you're very cognizant of the fact that we want to spend as much time as possible in the top half or the top portion of that triangle and minimize and manage the time spent along the bottom. The next thing for you to consider relative to best practices in business development is you've got to be a master at managing multiple relationships. You see, the goal is not to identify one company and then invest a lot of time and money in going after that company. It's to identify a number of companies, because you'll learn at different stages along the way of those that might be a really good fit versus those that just aren't a great fit. So you have to be able to manage multiple relationships at once. Even more so, within each company, there are multiple people you should be pursuing. Don't just identify one person, your ideal buyer. Think about all the people that can influence that buyer, and you want to build multiple relationships. The best business development people master relationship building. And what I mean by that is they have systems and methods in place that allow them to stay on top of all the different people and all the different things they need to remember to keep the conversations going. Now, the easiest way to do that is some sort of CRM system, but you can use a spreadsheet if you need to. And by each company, identify all of the people. And every time you have an interaction, just put a date somewhere that captures when you met and what you talked about and what the next step is, so that you can stay on top of these relationships and keep moving them forward. You see, the faster you can connect with people and move these relationships forward, the faster you can actually start to convert this from a potential customer or client to an actual customer or client. So you really got to get good not only at managing your time, but at mastering the art of managing multiple relationships and accelerating those relationships, but not doing so to the extent that you hurt trust. So get yourself a CRM or a spreadsheet, start to track all of the people and all of the companies you're pursuing so you know what the next step is in every single relationship. When it comes to business development, you also have to be really good at knowing when to stop. You see, sometimes you may put a lot of effort into a company and then realize along the way that it's probably not a good fit. Now, what do you do when that happens? Well, obviously, I wouldn't make that judgment myself if I've put a lot of time and effort, I might run that by my boss, my peers, the owner of the company, whoever you report into, to say, here's a company I've been pursuing, but I'm not thinking they're the best fit. Whatever the case is, however you determine best to do that, whether you do it on your own or you get some feedback, make sure you do it quickly. What I mean by that is when you get a sense that a company's not a good fit, don't keep going. Don't say, well, jeepers, I put so much time into this, I should keep moving forward. No, you shouldn't, because it may be even more wasted time if you do pursue. So when you get the sense that a company you've been pursuing or an individual within a company is not a good fit, stop. Reassess the relationship. Ask yourself the serious question, should I keep moving forward? Maybe it's not a matter of dropping that person, that company, or that relationship, but it's a matter of slowing down and investing your time in other relationships that you deem to be more fruitful, that there's a better or bigger opportunity. You see, we've always got to be judging where is the best opportunity for us to pursue, and we want to reassess our time accordingly. But if you get that gut instinct or that sense that the relationship's not good, stop. Don't keep going. Reassess and reevaluate how you can best move forward. Be clear with your prospects, with those ideal companies that you're trying to move forward with and build a relationship with. Be clear not only for yourself, but for others within your company as to what the criteria are for your best or your ideal customers, right? So let me give you an example of this. Let's say you're selling commercial insurance, and you prefer to sell to businesses versus an individual, obviously in the commercial side of things, but you're trying to sell to businesses that are of a certain size, a certain revenue size, a certain number of employees, and you've defined those as being ideal for you. You need to be able to map this out, even if it's a checklist, because what can tend to happen is when you're trying to explain to others within your company as to why you might be pursuing a certain company, they don't get it. They can't make the connection. Maybe they heard something bad about the company and they're like, oh, why would you bother? Why would you waste your time here? Or they just don't understand why you believe that company is a good fit. So make sure you get clear on the criteria for you that identifies what is an ideal company or an ideal prospect for you to pursue, and then document that and share that with others. Because if you shared with others and they run across companies that might be a good fit, they're going to refer them over. They're going to say, hey, Shawn, you shared with me the criteria of the ideal companies you'd like to pursue. There's a company I've been talking to, or my niece or nephew or cousin or uncle, whoever works at a company I think might be a good fit based on those criteria. So make sure you not only capture it for yourself, but share it with others. It's going to help you generate even more opportunities and ensure you stay on track with pursuing the right kind of companies for you. This last part is something I find a lot of business development leaders, managers tend to struggle with. It's what is the right time to cut the cord and transition the relationship from yourself over to somebody else. It could be account management, could be project management, could be inside sales. When is the best time to do that? Well, here's the thing. You're better off to start to introduce those people early in the relationship rather than later. So that's rule number one. For example, can you imagine if you're getting to know somebody, you've had multiple meetings, you've done presentations, you've met entire team members, they say, you know what, I am interested in moving forward, and you say, great, let me introduce you to Shawn over here, who you've never heard of, I've never mentioned him, you've never met him before, he's going to take it over from here, right? It just seems like kind of a little bit of a bait and switch, I guess would be the right terminology, the right phrase to use. So you don't want to do that. What you want to do is obviously position yourself that you can step away and move on, but you don't want to offend your customer or client. So make sure you identify early in the conversations as to who else will be involved in this process if you reach that point. And if you see the opportunity to introduce them, maybe have them sit in a meeting, maybe connect them by email, that's not going to hurt. You want to familiarize your potential company here or prospect with who else they're going to be dealing with so that it's not a surprise when you say, okay, now is the time where I typically would turn you over to Shawn, who will be able to dive deeper into what your needs are and put together the best proposal for you. Are you okay with that? Okay, so there's even some language you can use in transition. The last component of this is don't just step away and disappear, never to be heard from again. Make sure you set up for yourself even a regimen of follow-up. Could be once a week for the first couple weeks, then it moves to once a month, right? You have to decide. So you want to fade away rather than just disappear altogether. That allows you to ensure things are still on track. And if the customer or client who you've developed the initial relationship with has a problem, they're going to tell you, and you get a better chance of actually ensuring that that deal gets closed. So there you have it, a number of strategies and best practices for developing business. Hope you've enjoyed that. As I mentioned before, if you have, make sure you click the subscribe button. You'll be notified each and every time I release a new video. Also, if you've got your own best practices and you're in business development, make sure you comment below, add those best practices so we can share them with others who are watching this video. Now, as a next step, if you want to take that next step, there's lots more videos, lots more training I've got compiled here for you, so you can check out any of these videos here and immerse yourself in all sorts of best practices for top performing sales professionals. I'll talk to you soon, and until next time, make sure you get out there. Let's go sell something. Take care.